It's for Geekdom!
Welcome back to another episode of Gluttons for Geekdom. I am Bobby Deuce.
Nick James.
And here today I have my very good friend.
The man.
Rick Classic.
Did he just have his own intro music?
Yeah.
Nice.
So now, today we're going to be talking about Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The heroes in a half shell.
Not to be confused with the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
What was that?
Yeah, those guys.
That was the UK, right? Because they don't like ninjas?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How weird is that?
Michelangelo had a grappling hook instead of nunchucks with a shell at the end of it.
Really?
Just
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I didn't know that. I thought it was weird that they didn't like ninjas, though.
Yeah, that was because it was we just watched the thing. They said that it was because of the violence that the word ninja connotates.
and then they were like, ninjas are apparently affiliated with nunchucks. So they're like, Michelangelo can't have nunchucks. He has to have this rope with a shell at the end of it.
Yeah, I would definitely say katanas are the most ninja thing in the world.
Yeah, but those are okay.
You know, like a bow staff, I kind of get. You know, a stick is a stick. Size, they were actually, if I'm not mistaken, those are farming tools first.
Yes, they were.
Nice. But nunchucks, I guess that's more ninja than a katana?
Apparently.
Nope. So do we want to start with the classic, the 87?
Well, let's actually start from the beginning.
The comics?
How they came about.
Oh, okay, yeah. The backstory to, like, those two?
Mm-hmm.
The Eastman and Laird, yeah. The story that I heard, anyway, is he just happened to be on the right bus at the right time, and somebody dropped a scat magazine that Eastman was putting out at the time, and he pretty much looked through it and said, I'm going to go and try to hook up with this guy, and then that happened. A few days after that, they were kicking around, they were doing stuff, and they had Ninja Turtles. You know, like, look, I drew this is what a Ninja Turtle looks like.
I don't believe they hooked up. I think that's unfactual information.
Oh, okay. No shell waxing?
Wax on,
A little turtle
wax me off.
But then, and then, I don't know, remember, I think maybe Eastman said he added the Teenage Mutant just because of the ring to it. And it is. I mean, it is one of the catchiest names in the world.
It's actually one of the funnest things to say. I'm always like a little upset when they don't say the entire Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they just go like I enjoy the TMNT, but they're Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's so fun to say.
It is.
But not funner than Cowabunga.
Yeah.
So they had that going, and they did it not really as a joke, but almost as a parody, they said. Because, you know, if you look at them a lot compared to Daredevil, you know, in Daredevil they fight the hand, and this one they fight the foot.
Yeah.
And then Stick is pretty much Raphael or Master Splinter.
Master Splinter, yeah, I would guess.
So that whole kind of thing goes off of that riff, and then they kill Shredder in the very end of the first one.
Yeah, they fucking office ass. Those guys were pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, they were going to do that to the Joker in the first one, and then they were like, maybe we shouldn't do that. So they should have taken their end, because I think I don't even know the story of how they brought him back.
I think they kind of, like, everything just sort of took off from there, and then they had a completely different franchise altogether. So they, like, because you see when it started getting mainstream, like, past the comic books, it kind of just changes. They weren't so serious anymore. They weren't killing dudes. So they brought him back, and I guess it was like a reboot, and they just never killed Shredder.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the comic book seemed to be way more serious than the TV show. And then when they realized that, okay, we're not just dealing with, like, a small audience here, this is, like, a worldwide thing, they completely changed a whole bunch of things in the cartoon show.
Gotcha. Now, that was the guy under, not literally physically under Chuck Lorre, but, like, they wanted Chuck Lorre to write for the television show, but he was too busy being Chuck Lorre. But, like, that guy controls TV now, so imagine. But the guy under that, like, just knew the pop culture and had his thumb on the pulse, I think. So those changes, I think, worked well for them.
Yeah.
Well, Bobby and I were talking about earlier. He felt like in the newer, like even in the comics, and then later on when they had the 2003 animated series, that the characters were more serious in those, and then in the 1987 one, everyone's a lot more lighthearted. And then basically they're all kind of carbon copies of Michelangelo in the way that they're all very like lighthearted in their approach to everything.
Yeah, I would say like it was pretty much a cartoon made for kids essentially. So the kids aren't looking for like character development or anything. It's just show comes on, they watch these four anthropomorphic turtles do their deeds and stuff. Half hour's over. Wow, that was great viewing. I can't wait for the next episode.
As a kid, I really did love it. It didn't bother me at all that there was no character development or that they all seemed lighthearted. It didn't bother me one bit.
The only thing I ever wanted in my life was the pizza that they were eating. For some reason, that shit was cheesy as a motherfucker. Everything it was just like gooey, and I was like, oh, I want that pizza for some reason.
I get that way with a Goofy movie. They're sharing pizza, and I'm like, that pizza looks good. But going back, I think like they they scratched the surface. They just maybe got, because Raph was lovable, but he would say something rude, and they'd all go, Raph. And Mikey was like at a 10 with his silliness when maybe everybody else, I think Donnie was a little, they were all basically the same, but they had like just a Susan, a nuance of brain leader, rude, and just kid.
Well, I would have to say it was probably like that in the comics. Even though I've never read them, they probably did have their own personalities, and then they just to bring it to a different audience, make it more PC, so they're not like offending like parents and shit. What they would do is they would still use those personalities, but then they would just water them down so they fit better on TV. So parents are not just like, these guys are freaking lunatics. I'm not letting my kid watch this.
Actually, piggybacking on what he said, they changed the foot soldiers from humans to robots just so parents wouldn't get upset about it and not let their kids watch it because they were killing human beings.
Yeah.
That's a good freaking piece of trivia, Rick. Nice.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because it kind of goes back to what Deuce and I were talking about the other day about the Suicide Squad, the need for faceless people who I could stab and you don't feel bad for it.
Right, yeah.
And that's the same thing. I mean, what else would really tackle 4 highly trained ninjas other than like an endless supply of freaking robots, apparently, and let's just break their heads and everything, and it's smart. Fuck it, just throw them off the cliff. They're robots. Just dunk them in the river. They're robots. At the end of the day, I love that shit.
I like for someone to actually go back and like edit the all the times they fight their foot and put people in there, so when they're slicing off limbs and shit, it's like they're over here just thinking like cowabunga.
Do you guys remember the episode where they time traveled and they saw themselves old?
No.
Because I gotta look that one up. Because I couldn't find it yesterday, and I'm not sure if I'm really remembering that.
Well, I'm saying what that brought up is it was like in a newer series of Turtles. I think it was Turtles Forever movie where they go back and they see the different evolutions of turtles over the time. So they go back and they see the 1980s ones. They even see the comic book ones, and they're all black and white and just copies of each other. Kind of like the very first Ninja Turtles video game when they all had red bandanas instead of just the red, blue, purple, and orange.
I'm just going to cut you off for 1 second. One of the only, like I said, I'm watching, I just got it on the background just to have on for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, the one that just came out, but not the Out of the Shadows one. One of the only okay parts in it that I'm fine with is, like, they just kind of said to O'Neil, like, she got her picture or whatever, and they're like, all right, well, we're going to keep our eye out on you, don't worry, or we'll find you. And Mikey comes back and he's like, nah, that sounded kind of creepy. Don't worry, we will find you. And like that little bit of it just was like, all right, as long as they got Mikey right. And then right now, too, as I continue to watch, he's about to fart in all their faces.
Nice.
Yeah.
Go on. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say, who is your favorite turtle? Because mine happens to be Michelangelo. I was interested.
Yeah, no, mine too. I've been a Mikey fan. just again
I
for the
started out as
pizza.
Mikey, but then I went to Leonardo.
Yeah. I feel like Donatello gets no love.
I actually love playing as him in the arcade game that came out with the original show there. I loved playing as Donatello because his bow staff had like mad reach, but as a character, I don't know how much love I had.
I like what he represents as a character.
Yeah.
He's a smart one. He's making all the tech and shit, and yeah, he gets like no love, and he's probably like the most useful one out of the bunch.
And the most well-grounded, too.
Yeah, because he's like with Michelangelo, with his personality, he's just like a silly dude making jokes and shit. Like at any point in time, like something could go wrong, and like his like shenanigans could fuck over the team, and like one of the turtles could die. And then you have Leonardo, who is just supposed to be, I would say, the lead. Like how the like a lot of movies have like the lead hero, and he's not like they don't really have too much character going on for him. Like I was like explained before about the villain for what is it? Vandal Savage, and how the villains are supposed to be very
Dynamic. Nice.
Dynamic. Whereas as far as the hero goes, you're supposed to relate to them. So it's kind of like the Zelda thing, where the best way for you to get immersed into the game is by having the lead character not say anything. He's just supposed to be you in this world. So you have Leonardo, who's just the leader. He acts like a leader, and I would say, in my opinion, he has to be kind of almost the most human, or like the most a human would aspire to be as a person, noble and good, and just that fight. Whereas all the other ones have more human flaws to them. Like Raphael, he's just a ginormous douchebag.
He's just very serious. He's not a douchebag by intention.
He's finding his place, and he's the angry one, nobody wants to be that. We just kind of went through that, you have the leader, you have the tech guy who's got the plans, and you got the youngest, and he's kind of stuck in the middle there.
Yeah. As long as he's not the Anakin Skywalker of the group, I'm okay.
Did you see the TMNT, like that's all it's called, that movie?
I did. That was the 2007 movie, right?
Yeah. I think that Leo got... I'm sorry, say again, sir?
I said Raph gets kind of PO'd in it.
Yeah, and he goes out as a night vigilante.
Sick-ass fight.
Yeah. I think they gave those two a lot to work through, and I think then Leo got something more than... Like, he was still, I just have to be a better leader, but I like his, like, ghost story in the beginning. And I also like the fact that he fits a parasail into his shell somehow. That'll never get over me, he's going, no, a hang glider, excuse me, not a hang glider.
Yes, hang gliding.
It's pretty impressive. Oh, do you know who has a voice in that?
Who?
Kevin Smith.
If we're going to talk about voices, I actually want to go all the way back to the 1987 Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
And let you know that the man who voiced the Shredder was not only Mr. Philip Banks.
Ooh. How great is that?
I never realized it when I was a kid that was Philip Banks.
No. Oh, never. Never as a kid would I put that together.
Like, that's awesome. That makes it even better.
In that documentary, in just in case any listener is wondering, it's called Turtle Power, the definitive look at the making of the movies, or the making of the Turtles. Just look up Turtle Power, excuse me. They have him come in, and he says it at first, and you kind of laugh, but he says playing that character is very Shakespearean. And, like, you kind of give a giggle, because you're like, it's Saturday morning cartoons, like, let's calm down. But then he kind of goes into something Shakespearean that, of course, as the fucking amazing actor he is, I don't know why I doubted him, but goes into Shakespearean with that voice, and it's so good, and you're like, holy shit, he's right. That's incredible. He took something like I sold it for pennies, and it was worth $1 million freaking dollars of Oh, come on now, Uncle Phil. It's not Shakespearean, and he shut me right the fuck up pretty quick.
I can dig it.
It was awesome. And like,
It touched my heart.
what?
It touched my heart.
Oh, yeah. Well, who can't with him? He's the best TV dad. No, maybe Dan Barr is better.
No, what are you talking about, Roseanne?
Yes.
I mean, look, the episode where Will Smith keeps sneaking Uncle Phil cheeseburgers and he ends up having a heart attack is heart-wrenching, okay?
I don't remember that episode. Is that a real thing?
Yeah, there's an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where they tell Uncle Phil that he's unhealthy or whatever, and he needs to start eating better, and like the whole family is like being tight on him about what he's eating, and he convinces Will to sneak him burgers and stuff on the low, like behind everyone's back. And then he ends up having a heart attack, and Will feels really bad about it.
Damn.
He has to admit that he's been sneaking cheeseburgers out to Uncle Philip.
Damn. That's hardcore.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore.
All right, another good thing, really quick, sorry. While it's on in the background, again, like, to point out what Deuce said about Mikey's downfall, is that when they misbehave in this, they have something called the Tashi, where they all have to do ridiculous things. So Donatello's balancing on a plank on a ball while balancing a ping pong back and forth. Raph is knitting while balancing on an egg, and Mikey is doing a handstand on a chair on one leg. It's all balance and strength, and they're all doing great. And, we've been doing this for hours, and I'm not going to break. And Splinter breaks out a pizza, and who breaks?
Michelangelo. So you just mentioned the Splinter? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Who is Splinter in this movie?
I think it's two people because I think somebody plays him, and then there's somebody who voices him, and I think it's Monk.
Who is the Splinter character, like storyline-wise?
Splinter's still their rat father.
Okay, so what I'm getting at is in the comic book, Hamato Yoshi's rat actually becomes Splinter, but then in the 1987 cartoon, Hamato Yoshi actually becomes Splinter himself.
Yes.
So I was curious as to whom or what is Splinter in this.
In this, he's still just a rat. It kind of goes to the movie, but he wasn't a rat watching Kung Fu. In this, he's just... Like, in this, it's so convoluted, and this is where I'm going to lose you guys, because it's where everybody gets lost in this movie, because it's stupid. It's so fucking bad, and it's that April's dad makes them. And, like, halfway through the movie, she finds old footage of her looking at these baby turtles, and one of them breaks glass, and she's like, oh my god, I can't believe that I forgot about these turtles that my dad had, and I named them, like, all these Renaissance people. And it just fucking drops the movie dead that she is almost the mother of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But anyway, the four turtles and the rat get dumped in the sewer because she saved them from the building that was on fire because it was her dad's and whatever. And he finds a little Chinese manuscript, like one of those little learn ancient Chinese kung fu and 10 easy steps, whatever. And that's where they dig at it from.
I kind of feel like the real story of the Ninja Turtles is, as Donald Glover put it, a homeless man's fever dream. Their father's a rat, and they're all named after Renaissance painters.
Yeah. I think it works better than this, man. Yeah, that's where the movie dropped me. I mean, it's so bad. It's literally her, like, looking through home movies, and this little box turtle, like, I mean, when they're small, they're the size of, like, what, a $50 maybe? And it headbutts the glass, and it breaks it. It cracks it. Like, if I was a little kid and that shit happened, do you think I'd ever forget that in my life? Let alone when 4 giant turtles stalk me? And they, like, I've seen them and met them? Like, that's what jogged her memory? Like, no, fuck that. It's stupid.
Sounds like it.
And then they...
More than it's some of the choices for movies that they do.
At least in Out of the Shadows, I've only seen it once, so I don't want to get into it or talk about it too much. But they did try, and let's talk about Bebop and Rocksteady.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Because they're one of the greatest sets of people to watch, or, you know, like, They're Abbott and Costello of cartoons of turtles. They're just, I love them.
I enjoy them as well. They were not in the original cartoon. They were actually, I'm sorry, they were in the original cartoon, but they weren't in the original comic. They were made for the cartoon.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, for the original comic, I believe it was actually fairly short, and that it was just them getting revenge on Shredder. So all this stuff dealing with like mutation and all these other characters that were coming up weren't part of it. It was just done for the cartoon show because they just needed more material to work with.
Well, on top of that, too, in that Turtle Power thing, they had this one guy who I guess maybe not even for the television, but just specifically so they could keep cranking out toys. Because some of these guys, and I'm sure a lot of it was concept art, too, but I don't remember it from the show. And he said that they went through and, like, he took professions and made messed up things out of it using animals. So, like, the one he had was, like, a giraffe, and it was a witch doctor. He had an elephant that was, like, a fireman that was, like, gnarly with its trunk. There was a messed up baker, and they had really just strange animal hybrids to pump stuff out. So I'm wondering if, like, Bebop and Rocksteady were, like, if they were looking at all these, and they're like, just those two. Like, what is this stuff?
Yeah, you were going a little crazy. I'm just going to take the anthropomorphic warthog and rhino. We're just going to use that. We're going to go with that. That's it.
Say that word for me again, Deuce.
Anthropomorphic.
Thank you. Oh, it's such a good word.
Yeah. Another interesting thing is that I was actually, because John hasn't seen the movies. He's only seen like the Turtles in Time one where they go back in the feudal Japan, which is like he says he enjoys it. It's like he watched it the most when he was a kid, and come to find out later, it's like probably one of the least favorite out of all the Turtles movies.
No, the second one is for me.
I was actually explaining to him the whole concept of the second one, and like he's seen a few episodes of the 1980s cartoon show, and that was when I got to Rick. What were the names of the two mutant?
I don't remember. We just watched some of the documentary, but I can't remember. I did have the action figure.
Nice.
Yeah, it was the mutant dog thing and the other mutant turtle that they brought into the whole mix.
Correct.
Yeah, and when I was explaining that to him, he's like, "Why didn't they just put Bebop and Rocksteady in there? Why did they make two whole new characters?"
I have no idea.
Yes, two whole new characters, and one of them was a fucking turtle. They had four turtles already. Why make another turtle?
I don't know.
My understanding is from this live action show that comes out in 97 or 98 or whatever it is, that they actually had a fifth turtle that's a lady.
I did, yes, that was on Netflix, and I tried to watch it. It was not good. But yeah, it was a lady turtle.
I actually watched that show quite a bit.
Yeah?
When they brought it on Netflix and I tried to watch it, I was like, oh, wow. I had terrible taste as a kid.
Yeah. I also found the one where Power Ranger Zeo. It was around the same time that show came out, so Power Ranger Zeo met up with those 5 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers were the best Rangers, but I recall you're saying the live-action Rangers were in Power Ranger Zeo.
Yes, the live-action Turtles were in Power Ranger Zero.
Yes, sorry,
Zeo.
yes.
Yeah, no, that was a trip, and I watched that episode for the same reason. I said the same thing, like, this is bad. But as a kid, it must have been great. Like, look at these 10 guys. This is awesome.
Yeah, John actually said he saw that one. He was like, at first, the Power Rangers and the Ninja Turtles were actually fighting each other, and then they started working together for some reason.
Yeah, because they thought they were, like, of one of Rita's monsters or something like that.
Yeah, did they have all the Power Rangers there?
Oh, the Power Rangers Zeo.
All the Power Rangers Zeo. So they had that version's Tommy, right?
Yeah,
and
he was the Red Ranger.
He was red then, yeah.
Did he actually go up against the Turtles? Because, like, there's only 4 Turtles. Why? Like, there's 6 Power Rangers fighting these 4 Turtles?
Well, there were 5.
They were 5 then. They had their lady.
Well, I don't consider her an actual turtle because that's trash.
At least they looked okay.
the live action movies.
They
Oh,
just
yeah.
bought the suits. They were like, we want to make some money. You guys aren't using those suits, are you?
You're not making another Ninja Turtles movie, are you?
Because you know those suits had to be kept in a vault somewhere pristine as hell. Do you know who made them?
No, I don't. Jim Henson. We just learned that.
Yeah, isn't that freaking awesome?
Well, Jim Henson's the fucking man.
Jim Henson with an E or Jim Hansen?
I say Jim
Henson.
Henson, but it's Jim Henson.
They were talking about that, and his son was a really big part of it too, because they had the animatronics that went into the head was in the shell. So they said there was a few funny times where like they just made horses all around so these guys could go up, and like the easiest way would be to lean up on them with your chest forward. So they said like after a long day of shooting, you just find these guys just out in the field where they shot, North Carolina maybe, New Hampshire, NH maybe, I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
And it just
One of
looked
them
like they were hanging dead.
Miles were between those 2 points there.
So I'm so bad at geography, they could be right next to each other and I wouldn't even know it.
North Ireland?
So the son ended up having to do a lot of the action scenes because there wasn't those giant animatronics in the shells for all the flipping around. I thought that was interesting. Like, hey, can you design these suits? Yeah, well, do you mind shooting half the movie too? Okay. How old were we when that first... What year was that first one?
91 or something like that?
Because I don't think I saw that in theater. I think that was definitely a VHS stuff for me.
I saw that in the theater.
Most of the Turtle stuff was either VHS or just on TV.
I'm an old man, so I saw it in the theater.
That's awesome.
You're older than me?
That's awesome, though. Because they said they did not expect that reaction at all. Because when they were talking about it in the doc about, this guy trying to find the money and can't, and, this $1 million project turned into a $6 million and blah, 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 and you're never going to get your money, and I'll make sure you get your money back, and walking around and seeing the lines of people just waiting to go, and I think it made like 128 mil opening weekend, or opening box, whatever.
Inflation was pretty good.
It's actually funny because the documentary that we were looking at said that the Michael Bay one, just like the Michael Bay Transformers, terrible reviews, one of the highest grossing box office films out there.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually didn't mind the first Transformer movie or even the second one, but then they just started to get...
What I didn't like about them is that as far as the Transformers went, there were so many small little pieces that when they did the CGI and they were moving around and stuff, I really couldn't tell what the Transformer was doing. So that upset me. I was like, I want to see what he's Optimus Prime just flipped over somebody, and he just turned into a fucking blob as he goes.
As he went through this bus and something was yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, sure, it's supposed to look beautiful, and it did look beautiful, but I want to know what this one character is doing. I mean, I liked it. That was one of the gripes I had going in to see the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles. But then, like, when I watched it, I was like, oh, okay, it actually looks a lot better. I can deal with this. So now it's just a shitty movie that I can find entertaining, rather than a shitty movie that I might be able to find entertaining, but can't really see a damn thing that's going on. It had Shia LaBeouf in it, and I was like, okay, well, Shia LaBeouf's all right. I don't have a problem with him, but I came here to see the giant robots, and I can't make out the giant robots at all. So, what is this movie worth to me?
I don't think Michael Bay directed that, though. I think Dave Green did that.
Well, his name was attached.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like, watching the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, I didn't mind it at all. I was like, all right, cool. This is another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I guess I'm kind of jaded, and I expect everything to come out to be crap.
That's true.
But I was like, it's gonna be crap, so I'm just gonna take it for what it's worth. And I was like, all right, I actually enjoyed sitting through this, so cool, whatever.
One more cut-in, sorry. They're going through the turtle origin as I watch, and they do slice up a pie in the air, and the slice hits Splinter in the head. That's a nice little head nod.
Or back to the original movies.
Well, yeah, I'm saying that in the new one that I'm watching, they do exactly the same thing that they did in the original, where they're slicing the pizza, and it falls and goes right on his head. So I thought that was a nice little homage. You know, like you were saying, going into it, I just hope to see 4 giant things that kind of look like I mean, it's kind of hard to make a, what's that word? Do say it again for me.
Anthropomorphic.
Turtle, because they have weird faces as it is. You know, because there's that great comic book where the Panther guy, the name I'll look up and put under, but that's in a world all set with, Deuce,
Anthropomorphic.
animals in it. And, you know, he's a panther and there's elephants, and you even watch Zootopia and stuff like that. Disney version making elephants and stuff. Turtles are hard. So I think people saying they look like ugly Shrek is, I don't know, that's dumb. Turtles are hard to make.
Well, they have such plain faces, and they always look so weird when especially when they do the CG and they try to bring them to life. But I mean, like I think with the costumes, those were fine.
Those, yeah. But at the same time, like, somebody bigger than them existed. At least they weren't that threatening. They were all kind of small.
Looking back and like going over the turtles and stuff, yeah, they were actually pretty fucking short.
So, but then again, if you're a good enough ninja, I guess size really doesn't matter. Judge me by my size, do you?
But then again, like, who's gonna sit there and look at an anthropomorphic turtle right there in front of you, standing on 2 feet, regardless of what size it is? You're gonna freak out.
That's true.
Factual.
That's why I never liked Casey Jones's first meeting in that first movie. He was just kind of like, what are you, some sort of big turtle? And it's like, that's exactly what it is. Why aren't you terrified? It's a monster.
Because he's so BA, badass for those children at home that don't know what BA means.
He is badass, though. He's one of the coolest characters, too.
Yeah, he hands Raphael's ass in that scene.
Yeah. I love the music, too. Bump, 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 bump. Like, it's so playful. And he's getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
So just going back to the TMNT animated, I really like how they got the backstory in right in the opening credits. 4 brothers brought up, beat the shredder, now they're doing this, and boom, there's the story. Like, we didn't have to reveal the secret to the ooze and all that shit all over again. And like I said, you know, Leo's off in Brazil doing his own thing. Raph's like the night guy, and like you said, that clash is awesome. And they have that whole separate story about what the actual pushing of the plot is. And it's about, like, guys being in stone and immortal.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about voices, too, the guy who plays the most immortal guy is no other than Sir Patrick Stewart.
Who plays the most immortal guy?
Well, yeah, because the other ones are stone. It's just hard to go through. I don't know if we give a shit enough to talk about it that much.
Has Patrick Stewart been knighted, or is that you just being really polite about it?
Oh, he's been knighted, sir.
He should have been.
He and Sir Ian McKellen, the greatest butt buddies the world has ever produced, are both knights.
Wait, while we're on the topic of turtles, it's the people up in Rocksteady with the closest butt buddies, the best butt buddies of all time.
With age, they might bring it, but just because they're older, it just makes it better. Like, just 2 old guys, just like, hey, look at us, all the time. Like, that's what's great about it. They love that Twitter shit so much. I couldn't explain it to my grandparents if I tried, and they're just like, look at us in matching hats. Look at us in matching shirts. It's just so fucking funny. No, sorry, yeah. Bebop Rocksteady, go to number 2 then.
All right, I'll
And also, too, did you hear, like, the fight before, or the scene before that fight scene between them? The diner owner is Kevin Smith.
Oh, yeah?
Just to drop my Kevin Smith in there.
Sweet. It's pretty cool.
The other thing that the doc talked about, too, that I didn't really get to, but I'm sure you guys did, is, like, the first beat-em-up video game that they came out is one of the best video games ever, or the side-scrollers, I think they call them.
that is my favorite game of all time. Still, I'm 31 years old. It's still my favorite game. They ported it to Nintendo. They call it TMNT 2, the arcade game. I love it. All 6 incarnations of it.
I didn't. I did. Did they have one for Sega?
Right, that was afterwards. So this is like Nintendo made a game originally that wasn't well received because it was very difficult. Like I remember I had to be like 5 or 6, and I'm playing this game and it's very difficult. It's like there's a water level with all these gills in it, like electrocuting you, and it's not cool. It's just not cool for a 6-year-old.
The funny thing about that is that I really love the game, but I guess it's just because it's the Ninja Turtles. So, like, yes, the game was very hard, and I didn't get too far in it, but I was like, I'm going to play Ninja Turtles now because they're fucking Ninja Turtles. Oh, fuck, I died. Shit, the game over. Fuck. Well, I'm going to play Ninja Turtles now. I'm going to play it again. Yeah. Oh, fuck, I died. Shit, game over. Damn it.
But at least I'm a Ninja Turtle still, yeah.
Ninja Turtles. That's what it was for me.
But then they made this arcade game. I used to go to this crappy restaurant on Route 9 in Old Bridge called the Ground and Round. I don't know if anyone's ever been there. It was a terrible restaurant. You'd either mess up your food or it would take 10 years and it'd come out cool. But I'd make my parents go there and take me there because they had in the lobby my favorite video game, the Ninja Turtles arcade. So it's like, where do you want to go to? I'm going to go to Ground and Round. I have to go to Ground and Round. I love Ground and Round because, yeah, I want to video games give me money. And they have like,
Wait, to cut you off. The best part about that is that you could play it with friends.
True. You can play as all 4 turtles in that game, which you couldn't do in the original Nintendo game that Bobby was describing.
With friends. So you guys could just jump in there, like get 4 dudes, everybody picks their favorite turtle. Someone's always like, fuck, I don't want to be Donatello. And then you play the game and you're kicking ass and shit.
So they ported the game onto Nintendo, so now I can play this game at home and I never have to go to Ground Round again. Which is great for the whole family, you know what I mean? And in this version, they actually add levels to the game, and they changed it up a little bit. So one of my favorite battles in the original arcade game is the first level you fight Bebop, then the next level you fight Rocksteady, then you fight Baxter Stockman, the human, in like a little contraption that flies around. The next level after that, you fight Bebop and Rocksteady together to try and save April. When you go to the Nintendo version, Baxter Stockman's turned into a bug, and you fight him instead of Bebop and Rocksteady. I feel like they're both really cool, but I like the little change up there in the Nintendo version.
That was awesome. I've never known so much about video games, especially like I don't have the patience for that. Like Deuce just said and made a joke out of, oh wow, and like he said it like 3 times. I was not that kid. Oh wow, I died. I'd throw my fucking controller and say fuck this and go read something. Like I couldn't handle not being able to control the outcome. It bothered me. Like when you're reading, like the story goes at my pace, and especially if it's a good game with a good story, and you just want to know how it ends. Like I can't stand it. Like one of the Batman games, I still haven't gotten through. I still haven't beaten Deathstroke, and I had to just say fuck this, and I went and I read the story of how it ends because I couldn't take just dying and dying and dying.
Really, dude, you could just let me do that. I would have like destroyed his ass.
That's true.
It's
And then you would have beat his game, yeah. No, we should do that too on the YouTube.
What happened?
I said we should do that too on the YouTube. Have you go through the Batman games. If we could share a screen and I can watch you play Batman and we could talk about it, that'd be dope.
Wow, I could have never have done that. Okay. I go back and play video games from when I was a kid now, and I still don't understand how I had the patience. Like, I was told when I was a child I have ADD, can't concentrate on anything. I used to go, I would die, like he's saying, and I would just keep going back until I beat it. There was, like, on most Nintendo games, you couldn't save anything. You had to start over from the beginning every time. I don't know. I can't comprehend at age 31 now, 30, I said, but 31, how I had the patience to continue to keep doing these things over and over again.
I feel like when I was a kid, maybe this isn't true for everybody, but as a kid, for me, I had such unbridled enthusiasm that I just was able to just sit through just bullshit. So long as I was interested enough to sit through it. Like if I was into getting stabbed, I would have sat through getting stabbed. Like, oh man, this is great. I fucking love this shit.
Have you ever been to Newark, New Jersey? You like being stabbed? I can take you there right now.
Unfortunately, I don't. That was never one of the things that I got into as a kid. but I enjoy video games. I was like, oh man, this game, like I played through so many shitty video games. And I was like, when I put the controller in my hand, as a kid, I was playing it, I was all about it. And it's like, okay, I was like, I would go to school, the entire time at school, I'd be like, oh my god, I can't wait to go home and play this shitty video game that I've been playing because I was so enthusiastic about it. That doesn't happen to me now because I'm just like, oh, fuck, I'm an adult now. I got bills to pay, blah, 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 blah. Fuck the kid, man. I wish I was a kid again.
Really?
I'm with Bobby. I found out 3 years ago from my father, like 3 to 5 years ago, sometime in there. I never knew this, but apparently he hates the theme song to Super Mario Brothers because I played it so many times. He heard it so many times that he wanted to strangle me, apparently.
Well, that's how my parents honestly feel about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one. That and Go Go Power Rangers.
Did you play that for Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo?
I didn't. The first station I ever had was a PlayStation.
PlayStation.
So I didn't do, like, my neighbor had a Sega, so that's how I know Sonic because of that. And I know that, I think that they have a TMNT game for Sega.
Yeah. So Super Nintendo and Sega, when they came out, they started getting different games. Then, before it was only the one system, so you only had Nintendo, everything was universal. But then, like, Sega had this one, Super Nintendo had a different one.
Yeah, they had a habit of making the same games but different. So there's a Jurassic Park for Super Nintendo and a Jurassic Park for Sega. A TMNT for Super Nintendo, a TMNT for Sega. Power Rangers for Super Nintendo and a Power Rangers for Sega.
But they weren't the same games.
Same thing for like Mortal Kombat. So it's like, oh yeah, the Sega one actually had blood.
Mortal Kombat were the same, minus that they were like, Nintendo's like, we can't have blood in ours.
Is that really the deal?
Yeah, so they had either like,
they had sweat.
Yes, it was sweat.
So
That's
when they
freaking
got hit,
funny.
Like, gray blood came out of them. That was supposed to be sweat, and they would not have, in the original Mortal Kombat, they had the head-ripping fatality where the spinal cord was still attached in the arcade and on Sega. And on Nintendo, they did like some kind of freezing thing. They wouldn't do the head rip. It was too intense.
I mean, come on.
Come on.
It is pretty fucking intense.
I mean, come on.
I mean, but it's already out there, so
That's true.
why censor it? It's already there. So now you have people who are just like, well, come on, man. I know he rips his head off. Why can't I do that here? I know there's supposed to be blood, so why is no blood flying out of these?
I guess I'd rather read those mails than this is too much blood. Take it down.
I feel like if you have a Super Nintendo and you don't want your kid to see blood, you don't let them buy Mortal Kombat because you probably have to buy it for them anyway.
Good
Why
call.
do people who are of the age have to suffer because your kids shouldn't be playing Mortal Kombat?
Why didn't you just ask for a Super Nintendo then?
Exactly. That's why I had a Sega.
Good.
Although I did prefer the Jurassic Park game in Super Nintendo. It was lamer than the Sega one, but for some reason I was like all about it. The music was fantastic. You only got to play as Alan Grant. You're walking around. You're actually trying to. It was based more off of the book than it was off the movie.
I read that book. That was good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that book.
Jurassic Park.
Most overmade action figure of the 90s was Dr. Alan Grant, just for the record.
Shut the fuck up. Really?
Every store you went to, all they ever had was Alan Grant action figures. They'd be out of every freaking Jurassic Park action figure. But they always had Dr. Grant.
For some, like, the funny thing is, when it came to getting that Jurassic Park toys, I never had any people. I had Dieter Stark, the guy who died from the compies in the second one. Just as a guy who just dies to the dinosaurs. I had just a shit ton of dinosaurs and one person from the movies. And yeah, they made a T-Rex that actually ate the toys and stuff. And like every time I pull him out, boom, he gets eaten by the toy. And I just pull him out. Hey, just keep eating them. All right, sweet.
Bobby has the most random, unowned action figure. It probably doesn't have it anymore. Probably could sell it on eBay for $650.
They probably only made one, and I probably had that one.
Sorry, I got sucked into this movie for a second. They're at the scene where like they're fucking just tobogganing down on their shells, like down this big snowy hill, and they're
I'm sorry,
just
did
like,
you say tobogganing?
is that a word? Toboggan?
Mantis toboggan?
A what? Isn't that thing that or luge, street luge? What are those?
Sleds.
Sleds, sure. Toboggan is what? Water?
Sledding is a word. I don't think tobogganing is a word. So they're sledding down the mountain on their shells.
Yeah, I like tobogganing.
I like toboggans. Mantis toboggan.
And Mikey has like a flying skateboard and shit. That's pretty cool too. I mean, I don't know. The action in it's really good. And like Deuce was saying earlier with the Kung Fu, there's this one thing where Leo just like straight up side kicks 3 people in the head and turns it into like, it was super Kung Fu. It was freaking awesome. So it's not great, but it's not horrible. The second one's pretty bad though. I wasn't really feeling that one. Like we said, like the Bebop and Rocksteady edition was cool, and they did try for Casey Jones and got Stephen Amell, which is no slight. I mean, the dude's pretty, and he could remember lines,
Stephen Amell is pretty now?
but he does like the same thing like we were talking about with Will Smith and Ryan Reynolds. It just seems like that's just him. That's who I am. I'm just me.
He's not acting. He's just being himself.
He's just being himself, and people allow it because he's pretty. He looks good to look at, and he can probably remember lines pretty okay. I mean, it's sad, and I don't mean to bash the dude who never met him, but I mean, it's just it wasn't good. I didn't feel like Casey Jones at all. It's just Casey Jones, like we were talking about, is so badass and just so awesome.
Yeah, he's a badass motherfucker.
And just has a golf club bag full of tools. That's awesome. And this guy just had hockey sticks, and it's like, come on.
My favorite one has to be the cricket thing, the cricket paddle thing.
Yeah.
Like, he just comes out, let me use this as a weapon too. Because I can understand the hockey sticks, I can understand a bat, but he just grabs the cricket thing, and I was like, interesting, nice choice. You have so many clubs, and you choose a cricket one. Why?
Those things are thick as hell.
They are.
They're ridiculously heavy. That's one of the strangest games if you've ever seen. Have you ever watched cricket? Because it is some weird shit, man.
Indian folks love it.
I think I played a game that was based around cricket, like a video game that was a cricket game, and I just didn't understand what the fuck was going on.
It was called Kirby's Dream Course.
Whatever, dude.
So what do you think is next for the Turtles, then? Because I don't think Out of the Shadows did too well. I mean, right now what's really just driving them is the same kind of success that they've always had. Toys, because you still can't not buy them, and the toy line is off their Nickelodeon show, which I hear is really awesome. I've seen a few, but not enough to say I know anything.
I heard it was anime-like.
Yeah?
Would you say from the couple episodes you saw it was anime-like?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very bright and loud and and like lots of faces and that happens a lot in anime.
It's hard. It's the Speed Racer anime.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But it's not bad. But do you think that we'll ever get guys in suits again? Or do you think from now on, if we get it, it'll be a mix of CG like we got in these last two? Or do you think they'll go back and hopefully do a full CG again? Because it's like we were saying with the other TMNT, they did leave it open. They were like, okay, you're going to battle somebody with a familiar face soon. And it's like, who else could that be?
In my opinion, I think it might be like costs, because you have to pay a person to make the suits, and you have to pay the guys to actually get into the suits. Whereas, like, I'm guessing now since everything is CG, they're able to streamline that form of media so that it's cheaper than paying 4 individual dudes and one guy or a team of people to make these suits. So make these suits for these guys. You have to especially make these suits for these guys because these guys are going to play the characters. It has to fit. It has to look real. Now these guys are in there, and they're paying those guys to be those guys. And the thing is, to have somebody to want to do that, you probably have to pay them a lot because number one, it's going to be hot as a motherfucker in those things, sweating their asses off. So I would say there would have to be a big demand for more.
No, but at the same time, like if it's put out by a studio, the only reason I'm going to disagree is like I would pay to be that guy.
I would say, but the thing is, I would say it's cheaper to do the CGI. So yeah, sure, there are people that are going to be like throwing themselves at the whole idea of being a Ninja Turtle and being in the suits because most of the people that are like out there now are the child nerds that were us. So if I was a stunt actor and there was a role where I get to be a Ninja Turtle, sign me up. I'm done. They don't even have to pay me. I am there. I would jump around on screen wearing this turtle costume, kicking everybody in the fucking head. They would fire me because I'm being too much like a Ninja Turtle, just kicking people.
Sir, we had to fire one of the extras and an ambulance is on the way. What the hell happened over there? Some dude said he'd work for free, but he just kept kicking everybody in the head.
And he ate all the pizza.
And he ate all of the I think he was a real Ninja Turtle.
For a second there, I thought he was a real Ninja Turtle. Takes off the helmet when we fire him because we needed the suit back in. He was just a black guy.
Which, by the way, before we move on, Baxter Stockman was a black man. And when they made the cartoon in 1987, they were like, we need to make him white.
Well, damn.
I know. That must have been startling.
Got a red top on there.
Yeah. If that was live action, it would have been LeVar Burton who played Baxter Stockman. That's my opinion. I don't know.
That's crazy, though.
It's actually factual. It's not a joke, as funny as it sounds. Baxter Stockman was originally African American, and for whatever reason, there doesn't seem to be a concrete reason on the internet they made him Caucasian in the cartoon. Some thought it was because they thought it would be racist for Shredder to be bossing this guy around all the time, that people might take it the wrong way.
Yeah, the original point that I was getting at is that it's probably just cheaper to do CGI nowadays. Probably. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that.
Especially, yeah, because, like, I'm thinking you said, you know, it would, of course, require a team to make the suit, a team of people to make it CGI, but at least CGI, it wouldn't rip.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to do any maintenance on the suit.
The colors wouldn't wear out and change as sweat, so there's definitely got to be a lot of, you're right, cost in that, and just safety, too, because they were saying the original suits, like, guys would fucking hit cut and rip the heads off and, like, go crazy because they were tight and it was hot and they had it figured out. Like, a lot of guys who do suit work now have, like, cold water pumped in through tubes that go through a suit under their suit. They didn't have any of that. So it was excruciating for some of them to be in there.
And the whole thing about that is that they have the guys in the suits, but to do all the facial expressions and stuff was animatronics. They had all that stuff going on there.
Yeah.
So imagine being a guy wearing a helmet, wearing a big mask on, with all this machinery going on in your face, doing all the motions and shit. And there are probably a few times where some of that like metal would dig into like their face and shit, just like fucking bothering them as they're trying to move around, sweating their asses off. It was probably like a terrible experience.
Yeah, no, I could agree more now that you're saying it. So basically, to put a kibosh on that, yeah, the suits are pretty much dead.
Like Bruce Willis?
I would say that I'd still, if I was a stunt actor, I would still be that guy to put on a suit, and I would still like to see some suit. As far as the suits go, I think those were some like the best movies that the Ninja Turtles came out with.
Definitely the first one. Like I said, the second one kind of takes a little bit of a break for me in awesomeness, but the third one is total redemption, and I think that's the one.
Time out. Why do you feel that way? The internet feels like the first and the second one are acceptable, and the third one is garbage. So where is it different for you?
I think that as far as the third one goes, it's in my opinion, it's like jumping the shark.
Correct. That's where I go with it too. And for my age of when that came out, it was just young enough. Like it's like Batman Forever. Like why do you love Batman Forever? It's like it's just the age. You know, they went for all the gits and all the gats, and I just have fond memories of really
Batman
liking
and
that
Batman
one.
Forever?
What?
Who played Batman in Batman Forever?
Kilmer.
Yeah. Val Kilmer ruined not only Batman, but the Doors as well. He should go to hell.
I'll make sure when I see him next to tell him that you feel so, Rick.
If you can find him, since he doesn't seem to be employed anymore, doing anything.
Dude, this guy is, if he is so fucking bored as you say, he's gonna come and fuck your day up, man. I would just stop. Like, I'm not sure how many people we get to, but he might be this bored, like you're saying. And one day, you know, he might Jay and Silent Bob strike back you and just, excuse me, are you Rick Classic? Did you say on Gluttons for Geekdom that I'm not fucking employed? Well, I do two things, chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm out of fucking gum, Rick.
Why does he sound like Chuck Norris? Then the next episode that I'm on, it's like, oh, by the way, I still hate Val Kilmer, but we're best friends now. Val doesn't have much to do, so he's been playing video games with me. And he's not that bad of a guy when he's not acting.
Why did you think he ruined it, though?
I didn't like him. I didn't like how he acted as Batman. I didn't like how he acted as Bruce Wayne. I didn't like him. And maybe it's partly because the person who was supposed to make the film decided they didn't want to be bothered with it anymore, and everything was changed. And it was completely different than Batman and Batman Returns, baby. It was just doomed from the beginning for me. You know what I mean? I didn't like George Clooney as Batman either, but I don't feel like he ruined it. And then I saw the Doors movie, and I was like, that's Val Kilmer again. I'm watching it.
Well, I find that George Clooney is a better actor than Val Kilmer.
He was a better Bruce Wayne, for sure.
But most people would tell you they hate George Clooney as Batman more than Val Kilmer.
Well, because that's like the ones that George Clooney was acting in.
George Clooney had to whip out the Batman credit card, so there's no forgiveness.
Yeah, I mean, those are rated as the worst Batman movies out there. The ones that he was in.
Yeah, once Tim Burton stopped being involved with them, I don't know, those last two rubbed me the wrong way. And also, I was a little bit upset that they screwed Billy D like that, didn't let him play Harvey Dent.
That would have been so fucking cool.
I know, I would have loved to see Billy D as Two-Face with the actual, like, screwed up face. It would have been incredible.
That would have really been something to see. I wish.
Orlando Calrissian as Two-Face?
Yeah.
Billy D!
My name is Billy D.
Especially if, like, something came to chance and he's like, I don't lose things to chance. I had a bad card game once and I lost something valuable to me. And you're just like, oh my god, he's talking about the Millennium Falcon and Batman!
Or someone shows up at his warehouse and he's like, you got a lot of nerve coming here. After what you pulled.
Flips the coin. Did you have anything else for Turtle Time?
Well, we talked about the video games too, like
Turtles in Time. The next arcade video game after the original one was also pretty freaking awesome. And I wanted to just make point that I'm not sure how many people actually purchased and were able to get this game before they stopped having it on PlayStation Network. But they remade Turtles in Time in 3D back in 2010. And it was a fantastic game, like looking and actually to play. It's just that they did not keep the original soundtrack, and that bothered me. But other than that, it was fantastic.
And once again, it's another one of those games that you can sit down and play with friends.
Or enemies.
Or enemies, yes. I mean,
Even
like,
Val Kilmer can play it all day.
and like I'll say, like any video game out there that allows you to cooperatively play with friends is like choice.
The last thing I'll say about video games is that for a while, I would say from the late 90s up until like most recently, the Ninja Turtle games really sucked. Like they were fantastic in the early 90s. They were all that in a bag of potato chips. And then they really went down the shitter. But this last one, Mutants Manhattan, is very fun to play, at least if you're playing with other people. Like Bobby's saying, it's not the greatest thing to play by yourself, but if you're actually playing with other people that you know, pretty fun to play.
Yeah, and it's also fun to play when you're fucked up.
It has an old school feel to it, which I don't know. I was fucked up when I was a child, but maybe I was. Just naturally fucked up. Fucked up on life.
Endorphins were running high as kids, yeah. You had new cartoons, you had a video game, man. That was your fucking drugs. That was your fucked up.
Yeah, I wish it was that easy now.
What's yeah.
Sit and jump.
The only thing that we get close to that now is seeing an Amazon box.
Yeah, I do get very excited. When
I
order
get
something.
giddy as fuck when I see that smiling box.
It's like, oh, finally, the thing that I ordered like several days ago is here. Yay!
Yes. I wish people just bought you presents still, you know?
Mhm.
Just randomly sent you stuff.
I like when people cared when they bought you presents. And I feel like when you're a kid, people really do try to buy you things that'll make you happy. And now people are just like, whatever, I got you something. You should be happy I got you something. Lame.
Dude, Santa Claus is gonna come dressed up as Val Kilmer for you.
No, Val Kilmer's gonna come dressed up as Santa.
That's what I meant.
On my lawn. Merry Christmas, you piece of crap. Literally. Yeah, Val Kilmer, why is he ruining Ultimate Warrior for me as well?
As he's bending a fresh biscuit on your lawn. Yeah, I wouldn't mind kicking Val Kilmer in the nuts every now and then.
You guys are harsh on the Kilmer.
Sorry, it's something about him. He just rubs me the wrong way.
I mean, like, I don't feel too, like, my hatred for Val Kilmer is nowhere near my hatred for Adam Sandler. If you let me get going on Adam Sandler, I will talk your ear off about why I just hate the guy.
Well, let's leave the two alone, at least for tonight. And we promise the next podcast will be us just ripping apart people in Hollywood that we hate.
I'll have to be back for that one. We're going to spend an hour on Tom Hanks, which no one else is going to understand.
Every time I'm like, why Tom Hanks? Alright, everybody, this has been Gluttons for Geekdom. I am Bobby Deuce, here with...
Nick James.
And...
Rick Classic.
You guys have a great night.